Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're continuing our look at the Dragonhold DLC PTS patch notes. We are diving into class balance changes right here on the channel. So expect to see separate video discussions for each class as we take a look at the upcoming balance changes in detail. In this video, we're discussing the Sorcerer class specifically, so let's jump right into it. So starting off in the daedric summoning skill line, we have a pretty big change to bound armor. Now this change was not on the list initially. This was not included by mistake, but they did eventually get this in here. So you might have missed this if you've already seen the patch notes from yesterday. Bound armaments, they reworked this ability into an offensive skill now. So it's no longer going to give block mitigation. Instead, it gives you a 40-second duration that summons a bound dagger. This gets summoned anytime you deal damage with a light or heavy attack with a maximum of 4 weapons being active. Reactivating the ability causes the weapons to prime and seek your target. So I'm assuming they do damage at that point. And then there's still the passive bonuses here to maximum stamina and light attack damage. So instead of being just basically a passive buff now, it's also a damage source. This seems very similar to Grim Focus, where you build up stacks of damage and then you release those by pressing the button again. I do like, first of all, the theme of this, where you're summoning bound dagger. So the fact that sorcerers are already summoners, you know, this is in the daedric summoning skill line, so you're summoning this weapon to do damage for you. It is thematically, I think it's pretty cool. It fits the stamina sorcerer well. Now, is this the same thing as a stamina-based spammable attack? I don't know if it is. Not really. I think it's more similar to Grim Focus, like we said, which is a burst ability that needs to be charged up basically first, with some passive bonuses as well. So I think we'll have to wait and see for some testing to be done and see how this plays out on the stamina sorcerer. But definitely an interesting idea, and it's far better than just the passive ability that was there before. So I think this is a good change, but we just need to get a little bit more details on it. Moving on to the Charged Lightning, this is the Synergy. There's a fix here with the Major Berserk from the Atronach, that's fine. Then Summoned Familiar, this got a damage nerf, essentially reduced the damage by 17%, and they increased the cost as well, up to 4,500 from 2,808. And this is kind of to be expected, I think, at this point. It's not surprising me. They did mention that AoE damage, especially AoE damage over time, would be getting a cost increase and a damage reduction. So that seems to be happening across the board. So this is the other interesting change when we're talking about Stamina Sorcerer identity. You can actually be a pet build now on Stam Sorc, which is pretty interesting. So summon Unstable Clan Fear. This morph now scales off your max stamina instead of magicka. They decreased the cost slightly here. The area effect now deals the same damage of the basic attack. Hits in a 6-meter radius. So I definitely am looking forward to trying this out on my Stam Sorc. Pet builds could be a thing now, possibly. So this is an interesting change. I do like this. Now, Summon Winged Twilight, our healing ability. They increased the heal of the Twilight Matriarch morph. So it's more similar now to the Templar skill Rush Ceremony. This results in 87% increase healing done on the base, 55% healing done on the Matriarch. So that's pretty powerful as far as healing done. That's good. These abilities continue to scale with max magicka only, so this does not factor in your spell damage. That's something to think about. Now, under Storm Calling, we've got changes to Bolt Escape. So the fatigue from this ability and the morphs now only apply if you successfully teleport 1 meter or more, instead of whenever you activate the ability. So that's good in case you run into some terrain. You will not have that detrimental effect on you. Also, Ball of Lightning no longer stuns targets in the 4-meter radius from the origin, but instead stuns targets in a 6-meter radius at the final location. Okay, I think that's just a bug fix. I think that's what's intended for the skill. And then they fix an issue with becoming stuck in place. That's been an issue for quite a while. Hopefully that's truly fixed now. And then some specific changes on the morphs here. Ball of Lightning now ranks up in duration of the summoned Ball of Lightning, which now lasts 3 seconds, up from 2. This morph also adds 2 seconds of snare and immobilization immunity after teleporting. That's really interesting. So a lot of sorcerers, even stamina sorcerers, generally do not use Ball of Lightning because you get less opportunity to stun when you streak through an enemy. But now this sounds pretty good. The morph is adding snare and immobilization immunity. That's going to be a good change. I do like that. Let's see what they did to streak here specifically. It now creates a cone behind you that damages and stuns enemies inside of it. Wow. The length is 17 meters with a 40-degree arc. It sounds pretty large. It's hard to tell specifically what this means, a 40-degree arc. Okay. Rather than being a rectangle. So the ability requires more precise aiming, but will require less precise aiming when attempting to cast near an enemy. So it's creating this storm behind you, in effect, that damages and stuns enemies inside of it. The way that's written is a bit confusing. Is this like an AoE damage over time that's placed on the ground, or is this just one single cast? Is this a delayed cast? So you streak through first and then you get the stun? Ugh. I don't know. I mean, was this really necessary? I like the change to Ball of Lightning. This seems like it could be very buggy. And we know that Streak was already a buggy skill, and now we have this secondary effect on top of it. We'll just have to see how this plays out. I'm not sure at this point. So then Lightning Splash, which is an AoE. They increase the duration, 10 seconds, which is pretty normal at this point. Increase the base cost, huge now, 5k base cost. And reduce the damage per tick by 33%. Surge, this ability and its morphs now grants major brutality and sorcery at base. So we talked about this in the Dragon Knight class changes. They also talked about this on the live stream on Monday. They are making more of these major buff abilities, give both sources, so both brutality and sorcery at the base. This is good. This is what a lot of us wanted for the skill. After they changed Power Surge to be a healing ability, a lot of us said, well, just give, major brutality and sorcery to the base morph, and they went ahead and did that, which I think is good. That's going to mean that you can run Crit Surge without having to have another source of major sorcery. So this is a good change for sure. And with that, that's going to actually wrap up the Sorcerer changes. Not a lot of changes here, but the ones that are on the list are quite dramatic. Interested now in hearing what you guys think. What do you think about the changes to Bolt Escape specifically? And then also the bound armor changes and these possible stamina pet builds. That's something that I'm going to be looking at in the future for sure. So I'm interested in hearing what you guys think, and if you think this will be a good change for stamina sorcerers moving forward, let me know in the comments section. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video today, don't forget to crush that like button. It really does help out the channel. Keep an eye out for more PTS patch note review content coming up this week. And until then, I will see you guys around in the next video. Thanks.